Hey all, how's it going? Lawrence from Express Unity here. And so today I'm going to be starting the multiplayer FPS tutorial, and we're going to be using Photon 2. So I'll be showing you guys how to set this up as soon as you import it. And we are also going to be implementing a bit of Playfab as well for our accounts and whatnot. So the first thing you're going to want to do is download and import Pun2. When you've imported it, it should automatically give you this setup box, and it will want an app ID or email. So what I've done here is just created a new app, a new Photon Pun app, I believe it's called. That's the type you're going to want to select. And we're going to want to just get the app ID from within here. So once we've got that, we can just paste it in and set up the project. Then it says done. All connection settings can be edited through Photon server settings. Now have a look. Okay, so we don't really need to change anything because we're going to be doing it all through code later on. So we're just going to leave it all as is. I don't think there is anything we need to change. It should be good. Yeah, it should be good. We'll leave it like that. So the next thing we want to do is head on over to the Playfab Unity3D SDK. You can just type that inside of Google. And then over here, we just want to download the editor extension and import. And that should be it. We just import it. And I'm just going to move this over here while I log it in. So you want to put in your email address. You're going to also want to make your Playfab account before doing any of this. Oops, that's not the correct one. Oh, whoops. I just realized I've been filling out the register form. I'm gonna want to do the login form. Alrighty, so once you've logged in, it'll say no SDK installed. All we need to do is install Playfab SDK, and the extension will do everything for us. Alrighty. So now what it wants us to do is set a title. In this case, I've made one for Full Wing Studio, which is my studio name, and I've called it FPS Game. So that's it. Now our Photon and Playfab is all ready to be used. So we're going to be doing things a little differently in this video series. We're going to be trying to make it clean. We're going to be trying to make less clutter for the UI. So by doing that, we're going to be using async scenes. So the first thing we're going to want to do is just create a new scene. And then we want to save the scene. I'm just going to delete the sample scene because we don't need that. And I'm going to call this scene login. We're then going to create a new scene. And we're going to save it. I'm going to call this scene master. And this is going to be the first scene that is displayed. And then I'm going to create a new scene And I'm going to save this scene as register. Alright, so the first thing we want to do is just set up the login and register scene. So if we go ahead and open them up, I'm going to, let's see. So I've got a few assets here. I think I have some basic UI. I don't want the sci-fi one because that's not really what I want. Should have a cartoon one that I purchased a while ago. So let me just quickly run through here and find that. Let me change store. For some reason, the new store lags like crazy whenever it's trying to load that. So I'm just gonna click shop on old store and then go back to my list. And let's see if, alright, here it is, friendly and clean UI. It actually has an update. I may as well update it. Maintenance is pretty fast. Shouldn't take that long. So yeah, what I'm hoping to do in this, while it's downloading, in this tutorial series, is we're going to, of course, be making it the multiplayer FPS game. We're going to be using Playfab to log in. I'm not sure if we're going to be using the inventory system. We might in the end. Maybe we'll make it so we actually can purchase weapons before going in-game. So I don't know, that's still something I'm planning. But we're going to be using Playfab to log in and register. We're then going to be switching and connecting over to Photon. And then with Photon, we're going to then switch or connect to different maps. And those different maps can hold different types of logic. So you can have like a free-for-all, you can have a team deathmatch. So I think I'm probably, the first game that I'll be doing is just making a free-for-all. And then after that, I'll be doing a team deathmatch. So free-for-all is basically going to just be, there's going to be like a 5-minute countdown, and the player with the most amount of kills wins that game. And then team deathmatch, of course, is going to be like a point counter. So the more kills your team has, the more points they accumulate, and then by the end of the timer, the team with the most points wins that game. So another thing we might actually, I think I have an asset pack as well. You know what? I'll use free asset packs so you guys can follow along. So I'm gonna go to 3D models, characters. Let's see if we can't find a humanoid character. So these are all, I'm just gonna be using all free characters just so you guys can follow along with what I'm doing. Let's see if we can't find some sort of soldier. Maybe this guy? He's pretty good. What does he contain? 1 character and 2 guns. We don't really care about the guns. Do you have any animations? Oh, he does. Okay. I mean, that actually makes it pretty easy for us if this guy contains animations already. So I'm actually going to go ahead and download this. I didn't read what that was, but this isn't for any kind of commercial use, so it doesn't really matter. And I'm just going to import this. So basically I'm just setting everything up right now. Follow along or just watch, it's up to you. Alright, and I think that should do us for now. He does contain some guns, but I think we're going to just find another gun pack. But yeah, for now we'll leave everything like that. we've got enough to work with for now. So now in our login scene, we want to create a new UI, and we're going to create a panel. We're gonna want to delete the directional light and the main camera. And this panel is going to be called login. And let's see, with the new UI, let's see if we can find a panel that looks decent. They're all buttons. Button, that's a frame. Yeah, I don't want a frame. Really? I thought it had panels. Alright, well... maybe we'll just go ahead and use current frame. And we will just make it white. And shrink it a little. Put it to the center. Okay, so now... let's create... let's actually create an image, and we have this, I think I saw it as some kind of header. Yeah, here. So we have this stuff here. We'll try and align it as best we can. And then I'm going to add some text here. Gonna center it, gonna make it white, gonna make it bold, and I'm gonna call it login. And best fit. Oops, best fit. There we are. Now what we want to do is set the anchor. In this case, I'm gonna set it to middle. We're also gonna want to change the canvas size to scale with screen. It's gonna be 920 by 180, which is the scale of my monitor. Should be set the same as well. Alright, so that's looking good. So I'm just going to name this image to header. And now we can actually make our text fields. So let's go ahead and create a new input field. And let's make it a little bigger. Not that big, but... maybe like that. And then I'm going to edit the placeholder so that it is centered, and the text so that it is centered. And we're going to scale to best fit and best fit. We can also change the sprite of this. Let's see if there's any kind of input frame or anything like that. No, that looks bad. I don't want that. Maybe there's not. Maybe we just leave it as it was. That's a shame. I thought this had some frames. Oh, that's right. We'll just use what was the default sprite? Was it this one? UI sprite. Yep. So we're gonna call this. We're gonna call it username. We're gonna copy and paste it and call it password. And we'll move that down here. And then for the placeholder text, we're gonna make this enter username. And for the password, we're gonna make this enter password. We're also going to set the type of the password, so content type from standard to password, so that when we actually type, I'm not sure if we can actually do it because we don't have a camera, but we'll see. Right, we can. So when we actually type, it'll actually be a password field. So now we want a button. And so we'll go button. We'll scale it fairly large. Okay, and we'll just change that to an actual... Actually, you know what? This UI had some prefab, so let's go to... Oh, I see what they've done. So the update basically removed most of the animated buttons. Damn, that's kind of... That's a shame. I don't know, we'll try this. We'll see if this works. Wait, where is it? There it is. Big boy button. Alright, let's see what happens if we click it. Yeah. Alright. We're just gonna go back to the button we had. Kind of a shame that they changed what it was, because it was actually pretty good the way it was before. Did I really click that many times? Alright, there we go. So I'm just gonna add a UI sprite. Gonna add add a square button. Yeah, this one looks good. And just gonna change the scale of the text. And we're gonna set it to best fit and make it white as well as bold, and we'll just give it a text of login. We'll call this login button. Okay, so let's fix up the size of everything so it fits a little better. So we'll push the login button down, password down, username down, and done. Alright, so that looks pretty good. So we're gonna save this. And I'm actually going to just save scene as, and I'm gonna save it over register, so that we can just go to our register scene and everything will be there. The only thing we need to do is add some extra fields here. So we want to have our username, our password, we want to have a confirm password, just say enter password again. Move that down. Oops, not the text, the entire text field. Move the login button. And we're going to copy and paste this. We're then going to have this say enter email. And we're going to call this email. Alrighty, so everything's looking pretty good. And we'll just rename this to register. So I know there might not be that much programming in this video, maybe just a little bit, but we're basically just preparing our scenes for when we do start programming. Depending on how much time this video goes for, we may actually get into a little bit of programming. But yeah, like I said, we're just going to be setting everything up properly from the get-go. which means we're going to be spending a little more time on everything. Rather than slapping all the UI on the same scene, we're going to be making everything asynchronous. So now, I mean, actually that's... Oh, you know what we can do? Something really cool that we can do. Let's go ahead and... let's save scene. And then we'll save scene as. And let's save the scene as debug. Or we could make it... yeah, we'll call it alerts. So we'll open up alerts. And we're going to want to delete all of our fields, including the button. Actually, no. We can leave our login button. Let's just give it the red button. And let's change the text to OK. Then let's go ahead and create an image. And we'll try and make it look nice. Like that. The sprite of this image could be the frame over here. We'll just make it this square button, it doesn't really matter. We'll call this text holder. And then inside of this, we're going to make a new text. We're going to scale it to the green box. We're going to make it best fit. And we're going to change the color. I don't know, maybe we'll leave it. I don't know. I don't think it should have color, maybe white. We'll make it white, we'll make it bold, and maybe we'll give it an outline. And we'll make the outline a bit thicker. And we won't make it transparent at all. So that now, when we call this scene, we could do something like error, client could not connect to Photon. So we could do stuff like that. And so now we're going to rename this to alerts. And I forgot to name this again, so we'll call this alert. Now I'm just going to save this. And I guess we can start scripting a little bit. So I'm going to create a new folder. I'm going to call it scripts. And I'm going to create another folder inside the scripts, and I'm going to call it UI. This UI folder is going to contain a new script called close current scene async. And we can just put it on top of the canvas. No big deal. So let's open this script up. Alright, so we want to be using scene, we're going to be using Unity engine .scene management. And we don't need the start or update for this script. We want to make our own public void, and we'll just call it close scene. And actually we'll make it close. The script is called close current scene, so we don't really need to do it. So let's go ahead and do scene manager dot I believe it's unload scene async. And what we want to do is go say scene manager dot get gets the currently active scene. Let's see what else we have here. Scene. We have scene count, scene loaded, unload. Alright, so I think we want to do get active scene, and then we want to, oh yeah, that was it, and then we want to do dot build index. So what this is going to do is whenever this is called from within the current scene, it's going to unload that scene with async. Now, anything using this needs to actually be instantiated or loaded rather as an asynchronous scene rather than just loading the scene. So if we save this and then on our button, gotta let it compile. Our login button, we are going to drag our canvas into that, and we're going to say close current scene, close scene. So that will actually unload the current scene. So whenever this alert is displayed with our current error message and we click OK, it'll just unload the scene. So I'm just going to save this. Now we want to create a new UI script, and I'm going to call this alerts. So I think how we can do this, let me think here. So I think we can actually make a public static create new alert. We then, oh, public static void, sorry. Create new alert. We then want a string, and that string is going to be called message. And so what's going to happen is we're going to once again be using the Unity engine dot scene management. And then if we say scene manager dot load scene async, and we're going to call it by name rather than index this time. So the name of the scene is called alerts. So we want to load alerts. And then we want to go ahead and just have a tag for our text. So let's add new tag, and we're going to call it alert message. And so what we can do is we're actually going to want to do this. Sorry, we want to create an, oh, actually, can we? We may need to create a coroutine. So let's try calling, creating a new load scene async. And this is going to pass the string message. And let's see, can I actually start the coroutine inside a static? But no, I can't. That's a shame. What if we make it a static? Is that... no, that... it won't work. Nah, delegates can't be used either. Alright, let's not make it static. I don't think we need to actually inherit mono behavior for this either. So what we're gonna do is now we're gonna use a start. Damn, do we need mono behavior? Okay, I guess we do need mono behavior, so... Oh, that's kind of lame though. We'll see what happens. So we want to start load scene async, and we want to pass the current message. And what we want to do is just make a simple yield return new wait for we do this. Does that work? Because then this should wait for the scene to load, I think. I think that should work. Alright, so now we want to be using Unity engine.ui. And now we're going to say game object dot find object with tag. We want to find the alert message dot get component text, and then dot text is going to equal our message. So I believe this should work. So just really quick, make sure it's all good. Alright, it is. So if we go to our master scene, let's create a... Oh, that has its own scripts folder. Let's go here. Let's just create a test script. I'm just going to remove this later on, but we'll create a new C#. I'm going to call it test. I'm going to drag it on top of the main camera. Once it compiles, come on. A brand new script. There it is. Alright. So if we open this now, in our void start, we should be able to say alerts alert equals new alerts, and then we should be able to say alert dot create new alert, and let's say something like the scene has started. We'll see if that works. So once it compiles again, we will run Unity. Alright, so we have an error. Oh, we probably want to actually add all our scenes, so let's try doing that. There we go. We also don't have this one anymore, so I'm going to remove it. So let's give that a shot. No. Create new alert. So there's definitely an error within here. Let's maybe just not... We'll try this for now. And we will just return new wait for seconds. And let's just wait for 1 second for now. See if that changes anything. Alright, we'll run. The same error. Alright, let's just make sure it's loading the scene. So I'm not gonna start the coroutine, I'm just gonna make sure it's loading that scene. Alright, so it is actually loading that scene. Why did it replace the scene though? Oh yes, I remember. So we actually need to do load scene. Oops, what? We want to add a second parameter, load scene and additive. Okay, so now let's actually rename this to update text, and we're gonna remove this, and we might just say 0.3, and we're gonna say start coroutine, update text with the current message, and hopefully that runs. So now we shouldn't have our main camera or directional light removed. Instead, that alert scene should be loaded on top of the current scene. No, we're still getting that error? That's so odd. Null reference expectation. I'm gonna save this. I'm going to make sure that I have it is indeed there, alert message. What we may need to do is so let's create a new where is it's a static. Alright, let's create a new script, and I'm gonna call it alert objects. Oh, alert objects. And we're gonna actually have alert objects inside the canvas, and I'm going to tag the canvas alert message instead of the text. So I'm gonna untag the text. Then inside the alert objects script, I'm going to just have a few publics. So public text. Oops, I just can't type today. Text, and then we're going to want to be using Unity engine.ui. So public text, and we're going to just call it alert text. Alright, now in alerts, we want to find the alert message, and then we want to get component of alert objects, and then we want to say dot alert text dot text equal to message. So let's save. Oops, didn't mean to do that. So let's save that. Drag the, oops, not that one. Drag the text into there. Save the scene. Let's go back to our master scene, and hopefully that runs with no errors. And it's running with errors. Okay, so there's something wrong with the coroutine. See, because if I try and just call, if I try and find that object straight away, it won't work because the scene takes some time to actually load. You see, object reference not found, but this is here, so. Okay, let's see what we can do here. I just want to undo. We create a new alert, the scene is loading correctly. We then start the coroutine. this should definitely be working. Unless it's still too slow for it, I don't know, let's make it wait for 2 seconds and see what happens. Reference expectation. Really, I don't... What happens if we don't load the scene and we just start the coroutine? It's odd, I've never ran into this error before. I don't actually know what it means. Gonna behavior to bindings. Is it because you can't create another mono behavior within a mono behavior? Means maybe we need to do something like mono behavior dot no. I don't know, let's maybe equals new mono behavior, and then can we say mb dot, maybe that'll work. Maybe we need to make this a public as well, but I doubt it. Alright, let's see what kind of errors it will provide. Same one. Power of expectation, mono behavior to start coroutine. I mean, we probably don't need this because we're creating a new alert. Let's just try this. Ooh, inherit from mono behavior again. We don't want this. We're gonna load scene. Comment this out. And let's just do something like void update or void fixed update. Even we could probably use void late update. Then let's just say if alert message is not equal to null, then we do this. Yeah, we'll give that a shot. So we create the alert in the start. Scene has started. Let's see what happens. This doesn't exist. So let's just go ahead and say string message. And then message. Oh, we're gonna have to do this dot message equals message. And there we go. And then just to be safe, we'll say this dot message over here as well. Alright, let's see how that does. Maybe it is the fact that it can't find the tag alert messages, or alert message rather. Because we got no errors now because it's checking if it's not null. Very interesting. What if we do something like game object dot find object of type alert objects is not equal to null. And then let's do this. See what happens with that. The only reason it wouldn't be working is if it can't find this current object. There might be another find function that I'm missing here for different scenes, but because it's been loaded on top, you should be able to just use the same find. Yeah, that's so strange. Oh, wait. You're trying to create a mono behavior using the new keyword. This is not allowed. Mono behaviors can only be added using the add component. Alternatively, your script can inherit from scriptable or no base at all. Okay. So it might have been this, but I don't think we can have the update. Yeah. So with that, we don't have any update. Yeah, very odd. How can we do this? That was probably the error before because it couldn't inherit mono behavior, but now how can we set the text? How can we wait for it? How can we wait for it? Maybe we make the create new alert and enumerator. We remove this. Probably don't need this anymore. Let's add this down here. But let's do yield return new wait for seconds. Wait for 1 second. We don't need to do this message anymore. We can just do message. Now in our test, instead of just saying alert.create new alert, we want to do start coroutine, and then we want to call this inside the coroutine. And that should hopefully solve our problems. There we go. Alright. Multi-scene setup may be improved by turning to the following. Mobile scenes backed with auto-enabled can appear differently in play mode when reloading them. Consider disabling auto and rebaking. We won't worry about that for now. Alright, so now what I want to try is, can we do yield return and then load scene? Will it wait for the scene to load and edit the text straight away? Let's give that a shot. It does. Alright, that's actually awesome. So, now, because we've got it working with async, this OK button, when we click OK, rip. Yeah, it unloads the main scene. Let's quickly try and figure out why that is. Let's see, in async, we want to close. Maybe we just unload alerts. Is there any other? Yeah, alright, let's just try unloading alerts instead of getting the current active scene. Go back to the master. Let's play. Alright, we get the scene. Press OK. And it unloads it. That's awesome. Alright, so now we have our basically dynamic alert set up. All we need to do is create a new instance of alert. And then we just create a new coroutine using alert.createNewAlert. Alrighty, so I know this probably wasn't much, but trust me, in the long run, all these little things that we do for our multiplayer game are gonna make it spot on. We're gonna be able to create errors on the fly for the user. Instead of creating new UI every time, we just call this. We can, I don't know, maybe there's an error with processing currency. So instead of dragging in some text that we always have like hidden, we just instantiate this and we call, I don't know, user currently doesn't have enough currency or something like that. So it's very modular. The way I want this multiplayer game to work is to be as modular as it can get. Basically, by what I'm saying with that is, if you want to create like a second version of the game, you should be able to easily swap everything out. That is my goal. I don't want anything to be too overly complicated. But in doing that, each episode is going to be a little longer than my other ones because we're going to try and be doing everything properly. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was a little bit longer than I would have hoped just because of the whole alert thing with the where is it, with the mono behavior. I knew it had something to do with this. I was a little bit stuck on how I could do that, but yeah, we basically just swapped it around. Instead of calling the coroutine inside of this, which no longer has the mono behavior, we then call it whenever we create the alert, which is no big deal. It's like what, an extra 12 characters, so it's completely fine. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. Also, do remember that I have set up a Discord server, so if anyone needs any extra help, or if you just want to chat with me, feel free to join the Discord server. I'm always online, and I'm always happy to help. So I will